Alan May's with us, though. He was watching Game 7 last night from the Monumental Sports Network. Good to see you, Alan.
Hey, good to see you. Been a long time.
Yeah, it has. It has. I assume you were watching Game 7. What'd you think last night?
Yeah, I was watching. I was working for CBS Sports last night, and I thought Edmonton once again went out with the mind that they were going to win this at all costs and do whatever it took. They were so great defensively all throughout the game. Maybe a little too defensive in the third period, but I thought their big guys set the stage and how hard they played without the puck in Game 6. The back check of McDavid, Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, all of their top players, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, and the play of their big-time defensemen. They all led. There was great leadership and the impact that they played that game without the puck. And then they created a lot of offense off that defensive structure that they had. And they carried that over to last night. I felt the Canucks, they had a nice game plan in these playoffs, but I thought they played not to lose. They played too safe too many times. They got some bounces. They had an unknown goaltender in Sheloffs, and they expected him to make every single save. And it just got to be too much last night. Once the Oilers started getting in the zone and providing so many shots, I think the shots were 20-7 to 12 were the first two. Vancouver only had 2 shots in the first period. So I thought they just sat back too much, and they allowed the Edmonton Oilers to rev up and keep crashing into that wall. And eventually the wall broke, the dam burst, and they started scoring their goals.
Vancouver, at the end of that period, you're right, just 2 shots. They get the 4-minute power play, and I'm like, oh, here's a get-out-of-jail-free card for how you played that first period. You get a chance to just completely erase it. And Edmonton put their foot down on the gas even more and just eliminated everything on that power play. Impressive. But I want to ask you about Evan Bouchard and just, how good he's been for Edmonton these playoffs.
Well, he's been amazing. And you look in the last few years, he's been kind of a liability at times in the playoffs. And I think under the tutelage of Paul Coffey, he's really stepped up his game. He's not high event defensively anymore. He does better things. He's got a little more urgency at moving the puck out of the defensive zone. But defensively, he's been excellent. And I think the way he stepped up offensively, of course, we knew that he has the shot. We know that he has the shot. The puck handling has been excellent. The way he's fit in that power play, he's the perfect complement to it. But I think he's, just grown in leaps and bounds in so many other areas of the game. If you would have asked me in October when the Oilers were the worst team in the National Hockey League, what to do, I'd have said get rid of him because they look so bad. All 6 of their defensemen actually looked bad at the start of the year. It just shows how bad that system they were playing was. But he's elevated under Paul. So it's just leaps and bounds, and he's gone top tier with everything he's done. He's got nerves of steel. He moves the puck with incredible precision. He's got the scariest shot in the league, I think, for all defensemen. Yeah. It seems like it tucks under the crossbar every time. But I've loved the way that he's handled himself every game. He doesn't get rattled. He's very, very patient, and he's really stepped up his game.
You mentioned the system, right? Beginning of the season, they make the coaching change. And in this series, we talked a lot about, Rick Tocchet and how well, he has been behind the bench for Vancouver, but it was Knobloch, pulling the strings with his goaltenders, going back to Stuart Skinner for Game 6, pulling Corey Perry out of the lineup for Carrick. He made some really interesting moves, the way he split up McDavid and Draisaitl and managed the lines. I think Chris Knobloch's not getting enough, recognition here.
Nowhere near enough. Talk is my friend. He's everyone else's friend as well. He's got a lot of friends in the game. He played forever. Outside of the game, one of the best guys you're going to meet. And the press loves him. He's very candid. He's honest. But at the same time, Knobloch is a close to the best guy. He's a career coach. He's been phenomenal at every stop that he's been along the way. And he is the perfect coach for the Oilers. He's had a way, he does have a relationship with Connor from Junior. But the way he's gotten through to McDavid and Draisaitl to up their two-way game, Zach Hyman, did he ever take off under this guy? You look at everyone. He's been able to handle Evander Kane, who can be moody at times. But, he's been a whisperer for this team, how well they play without the puck, the things that they need to do to be successful. He's done a great job, and you are so right. They need to start talking about him more like they're talking about Maurice every night, the more like they were talking about Tocchet and Laviolette. Well, the new kid on the block's done a very, very good job of getting a buy-in from all of his players. They've been solid top to bottom in the playoffs. I thought he handled his goaltending excellent. He never beat up on Skinner. He never said anything that would create chaos in the media. And very, very well, he does his speaking in the room. He does his speaking on the plane. He doesn't do his speaking to the media. And I think that does wonders in Hockey Crazy Canada to really protect and shelter his players from the media.
Yeah, I agree. I thought this was interesting. I love, reading some of these notes from NHL.com, and they brought this one up with the coaches, right? Laviolette's the only one with a cup out of this group, winning it in Carolina. But they brought up Peter DeBoer, made the Western Conference final now 5 of the last 6 years with 3 different teams, San Jose, Vegas, and Dallas. I thought that is just unreal. The fact that no matter where Peter DeBoer goes, he's taken teams, deep into the playoffs. So, our poll question today is 4 teams left. Who's the best? So who do you like here the rest of the way? And what's your look ahead to the conference finals?
You know what? I have to take the easy way out on this. I love all of them right now because they've all had a defined style of play that they've adhered to. And they've all won, and I think in convincing fashion throughout their series. And Laviolette's been best start to finish with his squad. He's got an incredible roster, goaltending. His 6-man defensive unit, I think, is the best of the teams that are left. He's got so much depth at forward. But I look at the Panthers, they can win any way you want. They can win in the back alley. They can win on the drag strip. And he's got a buy-in from his team. He doesn't get flustered. I know he drops the F-bombs and he gets after his players, but they know what's coming, and I think they love it. And then you look at Peter DeBoer in Dallas. This team has never faltered, and they've had a tough road. It's an incredible road that they've been able to go. They go through Vegas. The last series, they go through the Avalanche, and they shut down all the big guns. And the Oilers, they've got their 2 guys. They've got a buy-in from everyone. But if I go back and I look at everything, and I'm a little biased. I'm a former Dallas Star. I've lived there forever. Edmonton born and raised, and I've got ties to there still. And I look at this, and I've got a hatred for the New York Rangers from when I played. The Florida Panthers, I have no ill will. But when I look at everything that's been said and done, I love the roster of the Dallas Stars, their commitment to defensive play, how they've been able to shut down the top players of the other teams, what they were able to do to McKinnon and Rantanen and Cale Makar in that Denver series. So I look at their goaltending. It's on point right now. Ottinger's been excellent. Their defensemen have been able to take away the best players on the other teams. And all of their forwards, young and old and experienced, have all stepped up and leveled up their play. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars right now as the best team that's remaining. And I'm talking about not roster to roster, player to player, but the way everything's combined. Their magic potion, they're healthy. They've got a great coaching staff, and they're all buying into it. So I think Dallas Stars right now, I'll be wrong in a week or so, but the Dallas Stars look like the best team to me.
They're deep up front. Back end's good. Maybe, there's great goaltenders left, but Jake Ottinger's right there. And you're right, rest, healthy. That's important. Look, I want to ask you before we let you get out of here about Craig Berube, hired in Toronto. He was unveiled to the media this morning with the press conference. Did you guys overlap in that 93-94 season? Because who was there first? Because one of you were coming and one was leaving your time in Washington.
I was there for 5 seasons. We used to fight each other. But what's funny is we grew up just a few miles away from each other, and we used to play in native tournaments together in Alberta. And that's how we first got to know each other. And then we tried out for a native Alberta Junior Hockey League team, and my dad wouldn't let me play. I don't think his dad would let him play on that team. And we both kind of traveled to different places, and he was kind of a studious, skinny little kid that went and played for a team called the Williams Lakes Mustangs. And he was kind of wimpy. He came back, he had no teeth, and he was one of the toughest SOBs ever. And one of the funniest guys. I absolutely love him. Our time in in Washington, our centerman was Crazy Killer Kaminsky. Craig was left wing. I was right. The worst line in the history of hockey because we were taking so many penalties, we hardly got to play. And I always needed my motor to be running. I needed to get my 15 minutes of ice time. I loved to hit. I didn't like just to go out and step in and, drop the gloves. But he and Killer were ruthless. It was absolutely hilarious. I just used to put my head down on the bench. I was like, oh, my God, we're never going to get to play. And but just a great, great guy. Like I said, one of the funniest guys ever. And there's a reason he played so long. It's because his teammates, the coaching staff, everyone wanted him around. And they're making a big deal about him in Toronto being this hard ass of a guy. He is not. He comes across that way. He's as tough as they come, and he probably still loves to throw it down. But he is so funny, and he knows how to talk to every single person. He put his arm around a player, he'd kick him in the ass. But the bottom line is he's as honest as the day is long. He's very direct in everything he says. But once again, there's always a degree of comedy with everything he says and does. and it's like perfect timing every single time. I think he'll handle that media market very well. He won't take it from anyone. He'll always get his message across, and the players, he'll protect them and do what's right for the entire organization.
I love it. Great stuff. What's up for Alan May for the summer now?
Well, I'm heading down to Florida for most of the summer. I'll hit Minnesota with the boys for a few weeks, and but I'll be I'll be doing my CBS hits from Tampa over the next 4 or 5 months, whatever it is, and then hockey season starts again. I'll start my crazy commute of life. So it's always interesting. It's always fun.
I love it, Alan. Great to catch up. Good to see you. Be well.
Yeah, take care, man.
All right. Alan May, Monumental Sports Network, Washington Capitals TV analyst, and all around one of the best guys. Happy to have him on the show.